Goodbye, old air purifier. Hello, virus fit. Remove more than just dust and haze. And eliminate airborne viruses with All Clean.
Goodbye, virus. Hello, magic. SK Magic.
Good evening and welcome to KiniNews. Here are today's top stories. Physical campaigning is banned in Malacca. So how did Azmin Ali hold a closed-door event with some 30 villagers in Machap Jaya? Well, by calling it a Budget 2022 briefing. He also had a few not-so-kind words for PKR after the event.
Azmin Ali, who stuck a knife in PKR by defecting to Bersatu along with his supporters, may be looking to cause more damage for the party in the Malacca polls. During a visit to Machap Jaya, the Bersatu Supreme Council member said he was saddened by PKR's decision to drop incumbent assemblyperson Ginie Lim as a candidate. Azmin said he was made to understand that Lim was a victim in PKR because she was seen to be aligned with him. For the record, Lim did not defect with Azmin. However, she was sidelined as she had previously clashed with the central leadership, including blocking the appointment of Malacca PKR chief Halim Bache as a senator. Azmin slammed PKR for not doing Lim justice. He blamed immature politics practiced in PKR, which has caused PKR to become irrelevant in national politics. Azmin spoke to journalists after a closed-door event with some 30 villagers in Machap Jaya. Azmin and PN's candidate from Machap Tai Siong Jiul spoke at the event. Physical campaigning is banned due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, Azmin's event was portrayed as a Budget 2022 engagement session with small and medium enterprises.
After coming up with the idea of banning gaming shops in the state, the Kedah Menteri Besar has presented a solution to his controversial initial idea. The man keeps giving. Well, except for gaming licenses.
Gaming outlet operators in Kedah have been told to look for suitable business alternatives so they can continue to put food on the table. This comes after the state government decided it would no longer renew the license of all gaming shops in the state. Menteri Besar Muhammad Sanusi Madnor said these gaming outlet operators should be creative in exploring new business opportunities that would help them to generate income and not just rely on their gaming activities. Earlier, during the debate session in the State Assembly, lawmaker Tan Kok Yew urged the state government to revoke its decision because it could result in a reduction of funds in the state. Tan also said the decision would result in gaming operators incurring costs and leading to unemployment. However, Sanusi said he was confident that the hardship of gaming outlet operators and workers affected by the decision will be less than the damage caused by gambling.
Lim Kit Siang has been around for a long time and he has never bought a 4D ticket. However, he has an issue with the government playing the role of the moral police.
DAP veteran leader Lim Kit Siang may be 80 years old, but he says he has never bought a 4D bet in his life. However, he still rejects the government's plan to impose moral policing on non-Muslims. He said this in response to the Kedah government's ban on number betting shops in the state and past objection to the name of a locally produced liquor. In a statement today, he said it is wrong, extremist and intolerant to try to moral police a multiracial, multilingual, multireligious and multicultural Malaysia. He said that the Rukun Negara principles for nation building, as noted in its preamble, had set forth an agenda to build a democratic way of life, to create a just society and guaranteeing a liberal approach towards preserving traditions. However, Lim said there are now cabinet ministers who do not subscribe to these principles and question if Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob's Keluarga Malaysia concept still subscribed to the Rukun Negara. Meanwhile, Gerakan President Dominic Lau told reporters today that the party will be meeting with Kedah Menteri Besar Muhammad Sanusi Muhammad Noor to ask him to reconsider the ban on gaming shops. Dominic said the meeting will likely take place after the Malacca state polls.
Tak ada agama nak menggalakkan judi di negara kita. Yang kita nak pertimbangkan itu ialah negara kita berbilang kaum. Dan hak-hak bukan orang Melayu, agama mesti dihormati juga di perlembagaan. Dan juga yang kita membimbang itu you tak bagi lesen, yang itu kita kata judi yang secara haram itu akan menjadi besar.
With all the talk about 4D, yes, we're still on the subject, a DAP MP questioned how much the government was collecting from such operations. Apparently, it's millions of ringgit every year.
Between 2008 and 2012, Putrajaya collected 6.3 billion ringgit from number betting operators. However, the collection from the special draw has been declining in recent years. The Finance Ministry revealed in Parliament that the amount of taxes collected from the special draw in 2019 was 113 million ringgit. In 2020, it dropped to 72 million ringgit. This year, up to September, only 36.88 million ringgit in taxes have been collected. This is roughly half of what was collected the year before. The Finance Ministry said that the revenue was channeled to the Special Revenue Trust account operated by the Finance Ministry. Commenting on the Finance Ministry's reply, Seremban MP Anthony Lok said there was no transparency in how the trust account was spent. Apart from the Sports Toto Malaysia, Magnum Corporation and Pan Malaysian pools, there are 6 such operators in total.
After the break, find out why Najib still has police escort despite being a convict. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Shellfish, red meat, and beer. If you love indulging in these foods, you may end up with high uric acid level in your blood. These foods consist high level of purine, a substance that will eventually break down into uric acid and be excreted through our urine. It is recommended that the amount of dietary purines should be kept between 600 to 1000 milligrams per day. Having too much uric acid in your blood can cause attacks of gout. It can also cause kidney stones and blockage in the kidney. The crystallization of the excessive uric acid in your blood can be eased by reducing purine-rich food to only 100 to 150 milligrams daily, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and consuming urinary alkalinizer like Ural. It consists of sodium bicarbonate, citric acid, and sodium citrate that increases the urinary pH and solubility of uric acid to prevent crystallization. Best of all, it's lemon-flavored and sugar-free. Ural, effective urinary alkalinizer. Neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Welcome back. Najib will continue to enjoy police escort services, and here is the explanation from the Inspector General of Police himself as to why.
Police escort privileges will remain for former Prime Ministers convicted of a crime until they exhaust the appeal process. This was confirmed by Inspector General of Police Akril Sani Abdullah Sani. So far, the only former Prime Minister to be convicted and sentenced for a crime is Najib Abdul Razak. Responding to several parties who had questioned why former premiers enjoyed such privileges, Akril said there was a legal basis for the practice. Under Section 21 of the Members of Parliament Act 1980, it states that former Prime Ministers are entitled to allowances and privileges as determined by the Cabinet. An instance whereby Najib's police outrider privileges were restricted was after Pakatan Harapan won the 14th general election. He could only request outriders for official businesses, but not for personal or political reasons. The 6 Prime Minister's security personnel were also recalled.
Speaking of Najib, his 1MDB trial continues with a witness telling the court today what Joe Low told Najib.
The Kuala Lumpur High Court today heard that Joe Low told then Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak not to say much during a meeting with auditor KPMG regarding 1MDB's overseas investment. Former 1MDB Chief Financial Officer Azmin Tahir testified that wanted businessperson Joe Low gave this direction to Najib via an email dated December 15, 2013. From Low's purported email, Azmi read out, PM to state clearly that he has been briefed and heard both sides, and is aware of the transactions and are comfortable with them given all the facts. During previous trial proceedings in September last year, former 1MDB CEO Muhammad Hazim Abdul Rahman testified that KPMG officials had met Najib on December 15, 2013. The purpose of the meeting was to satisfy questions by KPMG regarding the details of 1MDB's $2.3 billion overseas investment. The prosecution contended that the purported investment is part of a covulated monetary trail with the intent of putting funds into Najib's personal accounts. Najib is on trial for 4 counts of abuse of power and 21 counts of money laundering involving 2.28 billion ringgit of 1MDB's funds.
In another court case, this one involving DAP's Lim Guan Eng, the court has dismissed his application to transfer his case to a higher court.
Former Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng's corruption trial will remain at the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court. Lim sought to get the case transferred to the High Court so that in the event there is an appeal, it could reach the Federal Court. He claimed that the High Court is a suitable venue for the graft case as it involves several legal issues. Previously, on July 12, The Bagan MP appealed against the High Court's decision, which dismissed his application to transfer the corruption case. He then appealed to the Court of Appeal. However, according to his lawyer, Haijan Omar, the appeal was dismissed. Lim is facing 4 graft charges linked to the Penang Undersea Tunnel project in the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court. The trial before the lower court will resume on November 29.
Now back to the campaign trail in Malacca, Barisan Nasional has its eyes on defeating Harapan's Chief Minister candidate.
Amanas Adli Zahari may be Harapan's chief ministerial candidate, but first Harapan will need to win the election and he will need to secure his seat. However, BN believes it has what it takes to unseat Adli to take the Bukit Katil seat. Malacca BN chief Abdul Rauf Yusof is confident that UMNO can defend all 13 seats it won in the 2018 general election while gaining a few more.
Kita lihat bahawa kita juga boleh merampas pula kursi-kursi yang kita tewas, tetapi tewasnya dalam bentuk undi yang agak kecil dulu. Umpamanya di Gadik, umpamanya di Bukit Katil. Bagi negeri Melaka, kita memerlukan 15 kursi untuk membentuk simple majority, membentuk kerajaan. Daripada 13 kursi, dan kita menjangkakan kita boleh lagi dapat 4 kursi yang boleh kita tambah bagi memastikan kita dapat membentuk kerajaan yang agak stabil.
While optimistic about BN's chances, Rauf said BN is not underestimating Perikatan Nasional and Harapan. Rauf himself is facing a formidable opponent in the form of Bersatu's Mas Ermiati Samsudin, who is representing PN.
Well, that's a wrap for Kini News this evening. For more stories, go to KiniTV.com. Don't forget you can also follow us on social media on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook to get the latest news headlines as well. If you'd like to support the independent media, do consider a subscription to MalaysiaKini.com. When you're heading out, don't forget your mask, and when you can, do try to stay home. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe, Malaysia.
As the ministry responsible for driving our country forward through science, technology and innovation, the recognition of this award to companies, agencies and individuals who bring positive socio-economic impact to society is timely, as it can serve as the motivator for the industry, community and others to always be mindful of innovation, despite the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. This effort also complements the national development agenda based on the spirit of keluarga Malaysia. Akhir kata, kepada para pemenang, remember this: you have knowledge, and when you practice knowledge, you will get skills. When you practice skill, you will get habits, and when you practice habits, you will get attitudes, and you practice attitude, you will get the right culture.